Oh, bonjour. Hello. It's Kelsey and Todd, and we're live. Here's Todd's bumming back. We're live at Centennial Park in 100 Mile. We are here with Saturn and Tay. They are from the Pride Society.
The 100 Mile Pride Society.
Very cool. Mm-hmm. Are you guys in charge of it? Are you the organizers, or what's your role?
Yeah, so my role is the founder, and I'm currently also the treasurer, and Tay is the chairperson.
That's right.
Wow. What does that mean exactly?
Mostly that means that I cheerlead and I run the meetings, and Saturn here manages our financials, and as the founder, Saturn is the expert on basically how everything works. And so whenever anybody else on the team doesn't know what they should be doing, Saturn is ready to jump in and give them some pointers.
I feel like that's actually your job more than it is mine. Because Tay has the organization skills, and I have just been here since the beginning. So basically, if it comes to planning events and things in town and making connections, that's kind of my realm. But you keep us like in order.
We make a good team.
Yeah.
That's good. I think diverse personalities, diverse backgrounds, and experiences totally, mesh well together. Right, Todd?
Absolutely. Yeah, I don't know what you're maybe referring to, Kelsey. I think my first question is about how like a Pride Society starts in a place like 100 Mile, which I feel is maybe has a reputation for being a little bit backwoods and rednecky.
Yeah, definitely.
What was that like?
We have like a pretty organic origin story, I would say. I moved here in 2021, and we moved from Victoria. My partner and I came kind of mid-pandemic, and there was a lot of major differences that I noticed being here, especially from growing up in a place that was as progressive as Victoria.
Right.
So I really was searching for a bit of that queer community that I had back on the island, and I was struggling to find it. Although I was seeing queer people around here. Like, I was clocking people at the grocery store, and I was wondering, like, where are people hanging out, you know?
Yeah.
I was looking around, and I didn't really see any rainbows in the doorways, and, it just felt like everything was very hush-hush and, like, underground. And that is because that's true. That's how it was. And there was one business in town that had a rainbow flag in the door, the Caribou Family Enrichment Center, and I was inspired by that. And, I actually kind of like, I'd been mustering over the idea of starting a Facebook group. And I thought, okay, I'm going to make a group called 100 Mile Queers and Allies. Because I thought I better include the allies, or else there's going to be actually 5 of us in this group.
Right.
And so I made a group on Facebook called 100 Mile Queers and Allies, and I just watched it grow from there. And somebody who worked at the Caribou Family Enrichment Center reached out to me and basically said, hey, actually, we have been wanting to do something with the queer community here. There are queer people here, and 100 Mile has kind of a long way to go in terms of visibility and inclusiveness and celebrating diversity and gender identity and stuff. So it kind of spiraled from there. I did not move here with the plan to start a Pride Society. It actually very much happened organically. So from that original group, we had our very first Pride in 2022.
Cool.
It was very, very small. It was in this park right behind us.
Nice.
And and it's grown from there into what it is now, which...
What was that like that day? Were there like vendors and...
No.
No? Okay.
So what it was the first year, and I think we threw it together in a few months. Like, it was really a matter of like weeks, basically. And basically what it was we partnered with the Caribou Family Enrichment Center, which is another nonprofit, and they do lots of work around youth and families. And part of that is working with LGBTQ youth, but, that's kind of one sect of what they do. So we partnered with them, and they were essentially the only kind of table at the booth. They just set up like a resource table, and we had some activities for kids. We did like a fun scavenger hunt. We had a drag performer come up, and it was very grassroots. Like, when I look back on it now, I think of it as being like so it was so nostalgic now.
Humble.
Yeah, it was just like really like the very beginning.
Yeah.
So yeah, but it was because we kind of thought, okay, actually like the people in the community are requesting a meetup, you know,
Yeah.
and if we're going to do something, let's do it. Let's
Yeah.
make it a celebration.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
that's how it started.
And were you surprised with the outcome? Were you expecting more or less, or I guess it's hard to tell.
I mean, I think that there was the newspaper article that came out after that first one estimated the crowd size to be about 300 people,
Yeah.
I think that's pretty
which
impressive,
was
right?
kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, for a town of 2,000. And, you know, at the time, I think that our Facebook group had about 300 people in it. So to think that, like, all of those people probably came down
Yeah.
to Pride in the Park is pretty crazy.
Yeah. So you said 300.
That's what I
about
was
that.
really. I can't. I have a very bad. Like I can't estimate crowd sizes.
Right,
And
yeah.
also, I was like, you know, overstimulated all day, not ever having planned an event like that. So I couldn't tell you how many people were there. But the newspaper people said it was about 300.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
they must know what they're talking about.
I mean, you would hope
Yeah.
And how big was the team that helped you get that together?
that.
Really, just the two of you.
Yeah, there was Chris and myself, and Micah actually was there from the very beginning, kind of in a small role. Micah planned the scavenger hunt, which people talked about for quite a few years after that.
Cool.
What was it about the scavenger hunt that led to people just nothing like that had been done? Or?
Micah was so creative. They did like a whole, like, basically clues that had to do with the previous clue, and like people were, I don't know, they were going all around the park looking for different things, and they just like the wording. I'm not creative like that. Like I can't make up like a mystery clue with like a little elusive kind of
Right,
meaning.
yeah.
Like I'm very literal. So yeah.
It's by the garbage can.
Yeah, exactly. So no, they did a great job doing that, and it was just really fun for the whole family, and that's what 100 Mile Pride has always really been centered around. Like all of our events essentially have been family friendly, and I think that like that is something that is important in a community like this, because you know the current situation that we have in the world is really kind of questioning the safety around young people and around queer people. So you know we've always right from the get-go been like, this is the vibe of our Pride Society, is like, you know, we are going to foster this inclusive setting. That means it's for everyone. Arguably all prides are for everyone, but you know, in a climate like in 100 Mile, we were very sensitive to that.
Yeah, for sure.
Have you had much in the way of like negative pushback from people?
Some. Yeah, some.
Yeah.
Certainly more earlier on. I think our second year, there was a threat of a protest. A bunch of people on Facebook were quite upset about us doing a parade. But
Oh no, a parade.
thankfully, that bravery online did not translate to bravery in person.
It often doesn't, yeah.
And I believe that the RCMP may have
Oh, was it like
put out a quiet statement or something to that effect, saying, hey, like, don't come and protest at this event. And they came and were there with us at that event. And so that's about as far as that went. And
good?
every once in a while, some people in the community get a little bit riled up by what we're doing. Earlier this year, we put up some beautiful banners on the streetlights in town featuring a local queer Indigenous artist's work. And we did get some pretty negative comments about that. But again, that stuff really, it stays online. You know, people post that
Yeah.
stuff in the safety
Yeah.
of their own home. And, you know, I think we've really felt safe in the real world.
I think it says a lot about that person than it does about whoever they're attacking, right? You know.
I would agree with you.
Yeah.
A lot of people are very strongly opinionated about stuff that really, in the end, doesn't affect them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I hope it doesn't affect you guys. When it, you know,
Having a good team of people that we can talk to about it and get our feelings out, that really helps.
Yeah.
You know, that helps us get those feelings out.
yeah. Do you find your community growing?
Yeah, definitely. I think that this past year, we just had Pride a couple of weeks ago, and there was maybe 500 people at Pride this year, and our group has grown a little bit.
Yeah.
We have like maybe 400 people in the group, but I think apart from that, we've been collaborating with other Pride societies in surrounding
Such as?
areas, such as Williams Lake.
Yeah.
We've also done an event with Kamloops Pride,
nice.
which was good. And yeah, and there's an organization called Fiarte Canada Pride. They have a rural and remote Pride Committee, and it's for small town pride. So I have been going to meetings for that.
Perfect.
And it's really interesting to just like draw these connections and, you know, talk to people who are in northern Manitoba or like wherever, all throughout Canada.
Yeah.
And they're kind of having like similar problems and similar successes, and just getting to like share information and create that network that expands much farther than just us in 100 Mile.
Yeah, for sure. I bet that would be incredibly valuable, having, you know, people in places that are experiencing similar things to be able to share stories and maybe share solutions and you know how to outreach maybe. I don't know whether or not that's something that you guys are trying to do, as far as like, you know, educate people who maybe don't know better. What does Pride in 100 Mile look like when it's not the parade?
So throughout the year, we have quite a few community events that we do. Oftentimes it will be things like going bowling, or we'll rent out the swimming pool in Williams Lake and, you know, have an inclusive swim. We try to do things that are fun for the family and bringing people together in kind of like, you know, not necessarily just a drinking setting, which
Right.
we all also like, but, you know, I think that like, right now, we're starting to do a few more projects that are more education based or kind of more like intellectual based. So this month, we're starting a queer discussion group series. It's just 4 consecutive Thursdays. And we brought in somebody who teaches at a local school, and they are kind of planning some almost like lesson plans about different topics like queer parenting or you know, intersectionality within the LGBTQ community. And those are things that we want to do more of in the future. I mean, we are a relatively new Pride Society, so I think like above and beyond, we want to bring people together. I don't know if it's 100% our goal to educate everybody in this area. I think that focusing on visibility and, you know, kind of working towards that normalcy of whatever gender identity or sexual orientation you are, and feeling accepted no matter what is kind of the goal. But yeah, I think that we're kind of softly launching, doing a few more kind of educational things.
Cool.
Yeah.
Are you hoping to travel and do that too?
I don't want to say no, but I don't know if we have any current plans to do much big traveling like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Something that we have been asked to do as a Pride Society is do like an inclusive language lunch and learn. So if there's like an organization in town that is kind of like, oh, you know, we have some folks that would like to understand, but they just, you know, they've never been exposed to that kind of language, and it's confusing, right?
Yeah.
So we'll go and do something like that in town if somebody asked us to do that.
And I feel like the language has changed over the years.
It's always evolving.
Yeah.
I mean, language is always evolving.
True.
Right?
Tech is,
Yeah.
Don't get me started on tech.
Yeah, I mean, the word skibbity didn't exist when I was growing up, and now I hear my
Todd,
child
you're
say
making-
it every second day. So,
Don't make them cringe.
oh, sorry.
I said cringe around someone who's like 14, and they're like, you know that word?
Okay, cringe. It was a word that when I was
Yeah.
cringe has been a word for a long time.
Yeah.
It's skibbity, not
It's
so
cringe
much.
that they didn't know that we know cringe. Anyway.
What would be an example of sort of like how you would educate somebody in regards to sort of language around that sort of subject?
I think it depends where you're starting out.
Yeah.
Like, I think that I go back to the very basics, and I take for granted sometimes the language that is ingrained in my brain because I've been immersed in queer culture for a decade, right? So I think I usually approach things really gently, and I never want anybody to feel like they feel stupid for not knowing things. You don't know stuff that, you know, you've never been taught.
Exactly.
True.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I'll go right into it from the very beginning, like even the difference between sexual orientation and gender
Yeah.
identity. Like, I think a lot of folks around here have not really actually processed what the difference of those things are. And a lot of things that we talk about are like pronouns. I think the they, them pronoun can be a little bit challenging for folks. you know, you can kind of just relate it to different examples, and usually people kind of come around where they're like, oh yeah, like that is actually a sentence that doesn't sound weird, and I would say that doesn't,
Right.
you know. So
Yeah.
I think that you just take a really gentle approach, and I think it makes a difference that somebody wants to learn. I'm not trying to
Yeah, that's a
educate
good point.
people who don't want to learn,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yeah.
I'm not going to argue with somebody, and I'm not going to try to change somebody's mind about something that they have firm beliefs in. So
Yeah.
that's kind of
Yeah, I respect that. And I respect the soft approach to it too. Whatever the topic may be, you know, especially older people, we're set in our ways.
That is true. That is
you
true.
know. But yeah, I love open conversation and hearing perspectives. And yeah, I think we could all learn from each other.
Yeah.
Do you have anything to add to that? Because I think that you take an approach where you really like to be forward facing in a lot of different community activities and just have visibility.
Yeah, I do. Something that I've found up in 100 Mile is that there aren't a lot of truly hateful people, right? But there are a lot of people who have never met someone who's openly transgender or openly gay or uses a non-traditional pronoun, right? And so for a lot of those people, a way to educate them is to just be around them and be honest about who you are and maybe field a weird question and not take it too personally, right? And I've really found that that's made a big difference on some of the people that I see day to day, and people who I really wouldn't have expected to be allies and be good friends have really turned out to be. And for me, that's been my approach to working with the community and trying to make a difference.
And it's got to be, I think, positive to see that maybe people that you would have expected to maybe be less understanding turns out to maybe not quite be allies, but are at least willing to hear and try to learn.
Absolutely. And, something I've seen from some people that I now consider to be my friends is that they sometimes end up with a feeling of regret for some of the more regressive perspectives that they've had. And they have really wanted to be allies and be friends when they realize that I am just a person. And maybe some of those things that they said to me when they first met me were a little insensitive or a little bit mean, right? And so some of my best friends out here actually have been people who were, very against transgender people or very conservative in their views. And for me, more than meeting people like Saturn in the queer community, meeting people who are not a part of my community and seeing them change their perspectives has been the thing that has made me feel safest in 100 Mile.
That's really awesome. I had something I'm trying to remember.
I was just admiring the beautifulness of them, and I'm not ready for a question yet.
I will say that I think that kind of going on what you just said, I've had this sentence be said to me a couple times here where people will be like, wow, like you're just like a normal person, but you're queer. And I'm like, what? Like, yeah.
What were you expecting?
Obviously,
See, that's a backhanded comment.
But I think that they're saying it from like a genuine place of being like, I thought that queers were this kind of, like sexually promiscuous, like, like they have this idea of what it means to be part of the LGBTQ community.
Yeah.
And even maybe the word queer. Like I've been using the word queer for a long time. When I was introduced into this world, queer was very much already reclaimed. But there are folks here who are like, you can't, like, you're saying queer like it's like okay to say, and I'm like, it's been okay to say again for a long time, So
But
It's been okay to be.
It does seem like if you aren't within that community, and I say this, myself, it has felt weird to use a word like queer, which I was aware had been weaponized, right, in the past. And sort of, needing to, I guess, be told or to learn that it is now okay. I assume it's okay for me to, it's not.
Yeah, I think it depends on intent, obviously,
for sure.
right? Like, if you're using it as an insult, okay, obviously,
hurt, yeah.
right. But I think even putting queer in the Facebook group, people were kind of like, oh, like, that was bold, And I'm like, no, I think actually, like, I don't know. Do you have an opinion about that?
About the word queer?
Yeah, like, does it ever feel like it's not...
I think you're right. It's all about intent, right? And I think for most of the people in this community, we can see what your intent is when you use that word. And we are used to people being a little bit clumsy with their words. And if we really feel bad about it, we'll say something, and that's all that it really has to be, right? So it's
Yeah.
really just about what you mean.
And I think, going back to what you were saying earlier, there is a difference between what people get in their heads as far as, queer people or trans people or whatever, and then what actually meeting someone. They get this picture in their heads, whether it's from their own fears or whether it's from, the kind of propaganda that comes from like the extreme right of the political spectrum. And then, like you said, people meet someone and they're just people. And I think, personally, I think that, the more people can meet people from all spectrums of life and just realize that they're all just people trying to live their lives, trying to be happy. They have the same, wants as everybody else for the most part, the happier everyone's going to be. It's the not talking to each other, and it's not making the effort to learn from each other and realize that we're all just people, right?
We're just souls in meat bodies
Yeah.
that want love
Yeah.
and food.
Yeah. And beer occasionally.
No. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
So, when is the next Pride event? Do you have only one per year, or?
Yeah, so our big Pride event is the parade and the festival in the park. And that does get celebrated every year at the end of July. So we already have a tentative date for next year because the food trucks in this area get booked up a year in advance. So
What?
we do
Wow.
have a date for next year, but it will basically always be the last weekend of July.
Yeah.
So I think it's July 25th next year.
Nice.
But we
And-
do always have events going on. I mean, I think our next discussion group is going to be this Thursday. And so
Okay.
just about every week there's some little event.
I was going to ask, how do you survive in the winter? Like, what are you going to do in the winter? You
We
gotta
go
do some-
bowling.
Oh, cool. Okay, fun.
Yeah,
That's fun.
the bowling, I think we actually are going to have, so far in the past, bowling has always happened where we just invite everybody to come bowling. Everybody pays for their own bowling. You can buy food. They serve alcohol. But I think we're going to try to do like a community bowling event where we're just going to rent out the entire bowling alley and
Cool.
invite people to come for free. So I don't know if we have a date for that, but that will be kind of our next.
I don't think we have one yet. No. But that is a thing we are trying to do as well. Is as a very new organization with very little money, we have really been relying on people to pay their own way. And now that we're starting to get more funding and grants, we're trying to do more things where we can give back to the community and get more people in who maybe can't afford $20 to go bowling.
Right.
And how do you get these grants? Where do you go?
It's the bane of my existence.
Saturn puts in a lot of work.
When I talk to other Pride societies, I was going to say this, but I think some of it is just like commiserating together about how much work grant grant funding is. Actually, I think this year it's been affected because of the political climate. There hasn't been as much grant funding available, and all of the grants are getting inundated with so many applications. So
Really?
you don't even realize how it affects like small organizations like this.
Yeah.
But essentially, since we incorporated into a nonprofit, we are eligible to apply for grants. So we apply for different grants throughout the year. There's ones that are available on a local level and ones that are available, on a provincial level. So I think that we always try to diversify what our funding looks like. Lately, it has been a lot of sponsorships for big events and things like that. But it would be nice to move away from a model where it is just the same, few people in this community or local businesses that are supportive, kind of like funding everything. So we are excited to be eligible for grants, as much work as it is.
Yeah. Was pursuing grants something that you had done previously at all, or is that something that you've had to learn as part of your role here?
I am fake it till you make it.
Okay. Because I've
Yeah.
heard from other people who have had to pursue grants for other things that it's definitely not a fun process.
I think more so it's just that like it challenges your brain to sit down and really digest like lingo that kind of almost feels like legal lingo sometimes.
Yeah.
So there's just like a lot of jargon to kind of weed through. And yeah, it's challenging for me because I don't really sit still. I have like, I work on my homestead doing, a lot of really active things. And so to sit down behind a computer and actually just like do the executive functioning is like very difficult for me.
I hear you, sister.
Yeah. I'm comfortable behind a computer, but staying focused and on task is what's challenging for me. I get on the computer and all of a sudden I want to look stuff up on Wikipedia and go down weird rabbit holes, and then it's been 3 hours and I've gotten no work done.
Yeah, I just go on like alien videos. I'm like, oh yeah, homework.
Yeah. Anything else that you guys have going on sort of between Pride parades? Do you ever do like a queer book club or?
Well, I think that the queer discussion group is kind of like a baby step into a potential queer book club.
Okay.
Because the discussion group is really going to be taking a piece of literature or a piece of art or, an article or something and kind of using that as a basis for the discussion. So instead of doing something like committing to reading a book, you can take the reading material that day, spend 5 minutes reading it, and then we can talk about it. So we're going to see what the interest is going to be. There's so many queer books, amazing queer books out there that we would like to do that. But we're just we're not sure if there's going to be enough interest.
Yeah. What would be a favorite queer book of either of yours?
Ooh, that's such a good question.
Curious George. Is that why he was so curious? I don't know.
By Curious George?
I'd read that book.
I think I read Elliot Page's memoir.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And I really enjoyed that because I feel like I don't really read a lot of memoir books, and I don't really have a particular interest in any celebrity. But it was kind of interesting to kind of read about a story that was similar, not just to me, but to a lot of people that I know, and kind of put it on this perspective level where it's like, yeah, like even these queer icons that I look up to in the world, and even that have existed before me in history and sort of paved the way for a lot of the things that I'm doing today, are just also regular people. Like it kind of puts things all into perspective that like we all are sharing similar experiences. So I liked that book.
Yeah, and I think, what's interesting about his story is that in many ways it sort of played out in the public, and sort of us of the public got to sort of see that happen, but then to be able to see the other side of it, to have a better understanding of it, I guess would be probably pretty valuable.
Yeah.
Yeah. The one queer book that I've read, which is more of a graphic novel actually, and it was because my daughter loved it, is Heartstopper.
Oh,
the
yeah.
graphic novel.
Yeah.
Which we covered. I have a podcast on banned books and that sort of thing. So we did it on there. And one of the things that I thought was really interesting is framing the story instead of around, because when I started reading it, you got the sense that, it's going to be about this gay character coming to terms with all of that. And instead, it's about this character who had thought he was straight and now is coming to terms with maybe being bisexual, which felt like a perspective that is kind of new to literature, at least, young adult literature, maybe, but is still probably just as big a struggle to kind of go through as anything else.
And I think that there's more representation in books than there is in TV or film. And so when they made Heartstopper into a TV show, I was inspired by that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think that I have to admit I didn't read the graphic novel, but I did watch the show, or at least the first season. But yeah, I think that it's hard to feel that like there was this very generic queer story that existed in literature and film that was kind of, somebody has this sort of identity crisis and doesn't really know where they fit in and meets a partner and, there's love and then there's sorrow and somebody's not out yet or ready to, there was just this very kind of stereotypical story that happened in a lot of different queer dramas.
Yeah.
And so it's nice to see that there's more visibility for, bisexual people or pansexual people or intersex people. There's been so many different characters now that I'm like, wow, this is actually, I think, a huge step in the right direction.
Yeah, and I think it is hugely important for people to have the ability to see their own experiences reflected in either, literature, film, television, where maybe it's not happening as much, but to be able to, because I imagine it can be pretty lonely if you don't have an ability to sort of see other people with those same experiences.
Definitely. I think that in this town, something that we've had a special interest in is working with youth here. What we have found a lot of is that youth will grow up here and they don't find a community that makes them want to stay. And so, especially when it comes to queer youth, they often go to school elsewhere and they do not come back, And I think that it would be great to see 100 Mile grow into a place that actually has opportunities and has community for youth today.
Totally.
Because, and part of that is just representation.
Yeah. You have any questions?
No, I don't. I'm sorry. I'm tired.
I'm tired too.
I'm being real.
I'm
I'm entertained. I'm happy to be part of this conversation. I have nothing to say. I'm sorry.
We're supposed to be doing the heavy lifting, Kelsey.
Do you guys ever do performing, like dress and drag?
Our drag performer last year, the King Jovian, they were very much like, hey, would anybody in 100 Mile do drag? And I don't know that we had any takers. I have thought about a drag persona for myself, but
tell us about it.
No, I don't think I can. I would be petrified to get on stage anyways. But I think that I identify as non-binary, and so within me lives these kind of different gender characters. I think sometimes I'll wake up, I'll feel really femme, and then other times I'm really butch or mask or even on the boyish
I
side.
can relate to you.
Yeah,
I used to work in construction, but I also have a very glammy side too.
So when I think about doing drag, I feel like it would be the most far extent of drag king, where I would draw facial hair and because I do playing around with makeup sometimes. I'm not gonna lie, I have tried out a makeup look, but then when I think about actually getting on stage,
Saturn,
no,
you have to.
I can't.
I think it would be so therapeutic.
You know what? I really respect that drag as a performance art is so therapeutic and healing for people. I just know that myself in front of people, maybe I could do drag in my living room. Maybe that's okay. I think I could do that.
We have a friend, Jess. She owns a store called House of Misfit in Kamloops. Hi, Jess. And she's obsessed with RuPaul, and she's been just talking about drag. Every time we see her, she's just yapping about drag.
Well,
and then
she's
finally
developed her own drag persona and started doing performances in the last year.
I got goosebumps. I was so proud of her because she's kind of shy. She's she's humble and shy. And
what is the name of her drag persona? Do you remember?
Stevie Nips.
Stevie Nips.
Oh my gosh. I will be following Stevie Nips on Instagram.
Stevie Nips is on Instagram.
Because I follow, what is the store called?
House of
Misfit. Yeah. House of Misfit I do follow on Instagram. So
you know Jess?
I don't know Jess because I've never, it's on my list. Next time I go to Kamloops, I'm going to this store. So many people have come back from Kamloops and they're Saturn, you have to check out this cool store. So I will be reaching out
across from
for next year.
Is it's a business called Bright Eye Brewery.
Okay.
And so Jess collaborated with them, and so she started this whole drag brunch thing. Did she start it?
I don't know.
I might be pulling facts out of my butt, but
that's
cool.
They
may not even be facts.
No, maybe not. But it's so neat to see over the years she's just talking about drag, and then finally I'm like, oh my god, she did it. And she just has this look, and she keeps it's almost like Beetlejuice. I really like it. Kind of creepy gothic.
I love that. Our drag performers this year were both clown characters. They were the one person, Sparkles, the clown, is their drag persona.
Sounds cool.
They grew up here in 100 Mile and have since moved to Vancouver. And they've been following along with our story, and they reached out to us and offered to perform or do something to be involved with Pride, however way they could.
Cool.
And so they ended up performing at drag this year with another one of their clown persona friends who also does drag, and it was really fun. I think the community loved it.
I was very skeptical about clown drag.
Oh, yeah?
I think
I
was
think
one
I
of
would
our
be
best
too.
performances.
Are you one of those people that are scared of clowns?
No, I just didn't think that those things would mix, like putting juice in your breakfast cereal.
I've tried that. Orange juice in Honey Nut Cheerios. Oh my God. No, you wait till mom and dad get milk. You do. Don't go ahead.
I think it might be okay in cornflakes.
No. It's like brushing your... No. It's terrible.
Okay.
But, I'd be so happy if you guys just dressed up and even just performed in front of one friend.
I think Kelsey just wants to live vicariously through
Dude,
everybody else
yeah,
doing
I would love to
drag.
do drag myself.
You could do drag.
I know.
You should do drag.
I know.
Have you thought
Instead
about your
of-
drag persona?
I have, every time I have a shower, which is most days,
Okay.
I put on music and, perform. I have a sold-out concert every morning in my bathroom, and my shower head's camera one, and then the shampoo bottles
What are you singing?
Werewolves in London this morning.
Yeah. Yes. But another one too, old music. But I like Boney M and
There's some Bob Seger this morning. I think I heard coming from the bathroom.
Yeah.
Nice.
But yeah. Just
Well,
saying.
you could perform
I'll
at
do it
Pride.
with you if you do it.
Still
Okay.
a hard sell.
Not sold yet, eh?
Yeah.
This one meeting with Kelsey hasn't convinced you to do drag with her.
You know what? I should have a softer approach. I shouldn't tell you what to do, but I think you should try it.
I don't know. I think that, I'm never going to say never. How about that?
Same. I won't say never either. Even Todd talked about
I had what I thought was a good name, which was Tammy Faye Baker, but Faye as in like fairies.
Okay.
That's the direction I was going with. So it would be sort of like.
But would you be like a bearded lady, or what would you look like?
I don't know if I've given it that much
I can't
thought.
imagine you without a beard.
I'm not shaving the beard, so I'm either a bearded lady or I'm doing the Cesar Romero as the Joker in the Batman 60s series, where I just put makeup over top of
Whoa,
it and
that's
hope.
punk.
I think there's some awesome drag beards out there.
Yeah,
You could
yeah.
do sparkles in it.
I think
You
I
put
could do
some
sparkles
flowers
for
in
sure.
it,
I'd be open
you
to
know.
that. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And then definitely like big eyelashes, because that's the Tammy Faye Baker look.
Ah, nice.
And
I
then
can help you with that.
I know you could, and then maybe some like fairy wings, something like that, because the fairy thing has to get involved in there
Yeah,
as well.
right.
Would
So
you wear almost like a diapery bottom, but a ruffly short? What are they called?
Bloomers.
Bloomers.
I don't. It doesn't feel very Faye to me.
Oh, right.
Maybe
I
like
don't know.
a
I don't.
flowy skirt.
More of a
know?
flowy skirt, I think.
I could see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
When I worked at a farm, I worked a season at a farm a little while ago, and we joked around. It was a lot of queer people that worked there, and we joked around because sometimes we were absolutely covered in dirt and stuff, and so we had mustache day, and we would kind of fool around like that. And I did have a drag name when I worked there. It was called Jimbo the Gym Bro. And it was the most.
Oh, I love that.
It was it was on the most cringe side of
but-
masculinity. And
Did you have the handlebar?
I actually had bright orange hair when I worked there,
Oh.
and so I had a mustache that was orange. It was a big handlebar mustache that I dyed with the same dye that I had my hair colored with. Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, and I was trying to. This is where it started. I was trying to do that move where you can jump onto the ground and do a push-up, but from
Whoa.
a standing to a push-up position, and that's where the gym bro came in. So,
Is that like a burpee?
I think
You're
it's
like
I
Magic
think it's
Mike.
more of a move that you would see at a dancer stage kind of
Okay.
thing.
Okay, sure.
Channing Tatum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hot.
I don't think that I could do it ever, so let's not
Oh, I
get
thought you
too...
said you just did it.
Well, I think that I tried... We were fooling around all season. I think I got better, but I wouldn't,
Not ready for the
not
stage
performance
yet.
ready.
Yeah.
It's similar
Still
to
needs some workshopping.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, if I were to be like a drag king, I'd be more like dapper. We saw a guy with a monocle today.
Yeah,
really
a guy
excited.
at we went to the. Did you?
I mean, I don't know who it is, but I have
See
a
Monocle
picture
Man?
in my head.
Funny.
Oh, a monocle,
Man.
yeah. Oh my God.
It's a good look.
It is.
Yeah.
Cool.
It is.
He kind of looked like Mr. Peanut.
I don't think Mr. Peanut.
He
No,
had a
it's
regular body though.
he was not a giant peanut. Just to clarify, yeah.
A person body.
Yeah, I've never seen anyone with an actual monocle, and I don't even know. Like, is it used to like?
But like he
Like,
had
I
two
think he
eyes
was-
though.
I think he was reading the menu with it though.
Oh my God, he's so
I mean, is that like the is it progressive lenses that like kind of start you like there's like reading glasses like
Yeah.
under here and then there's like farsighted up
Yeah.
here. So maybe a monocle is like
Oh, smart.
the
Probably.
first kind of
The first
I don't know.
stage.
Well, the first progressive lens. You just look out of this eye for
right.
reading, or look out of that
That's
eye.
actually a good thought too.
I don't know what I'm talking about.
No,
so
I
don't.
think-
neither do any of us though. So,
No, it's true, but we're getting paid for it, so hey,
hey,
why not?
why not?
Fake it till you make it.
Exactly.
That's
exactly.
the vibe.
I think the moral of the story is that one, we should bring monocles back. Two, you should definitely include a monocle in your drag king persona.
Yeah.
If you want to be shaped like a peanut, you can use foam.
There we go. What would be a drag name for a Mr. Peanut character?
Ooh, I can't be put on the spot. I don't know.
Okay.
I
G-rated.
love making up names.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Did you say
Let's change the subject.
G-rated.
It was.
If that's going to get us into not G-rated territory, then we should change the subject for
was.
sure. So it's your turn to change the subject.
Well, are there anything? Wait, I don't. We are a mess today. Hold on. How much time do we have left?
About 20 minutes, I think. So,
Anything else relevant that we should talk about with
Wait.
Pride?
Hold on. Erin. Who is Erin?
Oh, so
What does she do?
Erin is actually she was the secretary. Hi, Lori. We'll be finished with. I know. I'm sorry. We'll be finished with this interview in a few minutes. Erin has been with Pride for a few years now. She was the secretary, and now she is just a director at the Pride Society. Erin is part of our events committee. Really, Erin takes like a lot of the responsibility for doing events throughout the year. Erin is really the one that plans things like we've done Rocky Horror Picture Show a couple
cool.
of years in a row. And Erin sets up things. Erin has such a creative mind when it comes to events. Like, we went to the local ski hill and we had a tubing event, which was really fun.
Oh.
We've rented out the upstairs at the curling rink. We had a movie night there. And we watched San Junipero, which was an amazing episode of the Black Mirror.
Oh, interesting.
And it was just a really cute night. So Erin has like all of these crazy ideas and somehow makes every single one happen. Like
She has a lot of energy for it.
yeah, she loves event planning. So we're happy to have her.
Yeah, Erin. Hi, Erin. Thank you so much for organizing this stream.
Yeah, hopefully Erin's watching.
Yeah. She's very beautiful, but she said she wasn't camera ready. But
We appreciate Erin.
We respect that. But I disagree. I think she's totally camera ready.
Yeah, Erin's done a lot for the Pride Society. I think Erin joined in 2022, actually. So
Oh, okay. Same year as you.
No, wait, 2023. 2022
Oh.
was the first one. 2023, Erin joined.
Okay.
So she's been around for quite a few years now.
It doesn't sound like that long ago, but I guess it.
Well,
It's
I
not
mean, I guess in the
really.
history
No.
of the Pride Society here,
True.
which it is like a very baby Pride
Yeah.
Society,
Yeah.
you know?
But a lot has happened probably in
Yeah, so I will say a bit about the Rainbow Visibility Initiative. So in the beginning, when I was like looking around in windows for pride flags and I wasn't really seeing too much going on here, one of the first projects that we did with the Gay Straight Alliance from the local high school is we had stickers that said everyone is welcome here. And we walked around with the youth from the high school and went to different businesses and offered them a sticker to put in their window. And now, I don't know if you two have been around the main street in 100 Mile, but you can see dozens of stickers in the windows, and it feels so much different here.
I bet it would, yeah.
Yeah, and so every year we do like a little bit more with the sticker campaign. You know, people will add stickers to their businesses. If there's just a new business, like people have reached out to the Pride Society and said, you know, I'm a new business and I need a sticker. Do you still have some?
That's really cool.
And you mentioned the banners that we had made. So that was a pretty big project that we did, banners for the light posts in town. So we're kind of focusing more on creating more of that visibility in 100 Mile House. And so far it's really, I think, when you say like it hasn't been that long, but a lot has happened.
Yeah.
It's true that the feeling of walking down the streets and being like, where do the queer people hang out? To now being like, wow, there's signs of celebrating diversity here, almost on every street corner, you know?
Right.
Cool.
And that's got to be incredibly rewarding as well to sort of see the work that you're putting in paying off in that way.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely. And it's been, you know, the banners were a great project because we got to work pretty closely with the village council, who have turned out to be really surprisingly great allies. They were very supportive when we came to them and asked them about doing an art project. And we're really thankful to have a relatively progressive council here.
That's fantastic too, yeah. Do you have sort of any long-term plans, anything that you'd like to sort of see still develop in the months, years to come, beyond just sort of the general changing perspectives?
We're definitely looking for more visibility initiatives. You know, many towns have a crosswalk. Is that too cliche? We've gone back and forth on it. We've talked about doing some sort of a queer and Indigenous mural. So projects like that are very expensive, and so that means we have plenty of time to kick the ideas around and figure out what the right one is before we find the money for it.
There's some intimidating people behind us.
Exercising.
Lots of punching going on back there.
Rage exercising.
Yeah.
Are you guys thinking of adding more roles and responsibilities moving forward?
Yeah, I think that in terms of our board, we always have like, you know, an evolution with the board. We have a couple of seats open right now, so there's definitely some space for adding a few more folks. I think that the direction we want to go with the society, though, is having more committees. Not everybody wants to join a board or really be part of a society in a way that is that consistent. But let's say a pride committee that's really focused on planning the event in the park. That would be something that could have 10 or 12 volunteers be part of. And that really kind of has a 3-month window of when you're working throughout the year. So I think big or small, there's something for anybody that wanted to volunteer. And it will kind of go into more of those committees and things. Yeah.
So you are looking for more volunteers and
definitely.
Obviously.
Every year the event in the park grows, and so, you know, this year we had somebody reach out from Montreal. She grew up here and then goes to school in Montreal, has also been following along with our story. And when we did a volunteer call out, they basically said, I would love to help in any way, but I am not physically there. Is there anything that I can do?
Maybe some influence from Montreal.
We were like, are you comfortable on email? And they were like, yes, because one thing that bogs us down sometimes when we're event planning is just all the correspondence that goes into it.
Sure.
And C was very good about, you know, sending out email lists and answering questions, and that helped us out so much. Honestly, C was like the MVP.
I agree.
Yeah.
And going back to what you were saying about like queer youth in the community, I think we've had 3 or 4 people involved with Pride this year who were all people who grew up here and moved away and saw what we were doing and came back in some way to connect with us and make this happen. And that's really the progress that we're excited to see.
Yeah, definitely.
You reel them back in. I like
Yeah.
it.
And so if people do want to reach out and connect with you guys and find out how they can help, what would be the most efficient ways for them to do that? Is it email? Is it Facebook? What does it look like?
Yeah, so our email is 100, the number is 100, milepride@gmail.com. And we also have a Facebook and Instagram page, so anybody can give us a follow and reach out there.
Same name.
Yeah, 100 Mile Pride or 100 Mile Pride Society.
Cool.
And yeah, we love to hear from people, and it kind of does seem like far or wide anybody that wants to be involved, we can find space for.
Cool. Yeah. I think there's Kamloops
Yeah.
is a good town to. I mean, it's not too far, and
The thing
I
with
think there's a lot of good
Kamloops,
connections.
the queer community in Kamloops is amazing, but there's a lot going on in Kamloops. For us in 100 Mile, we are more likely to go to Kamloops for things. It's, I think, hard for Kamloops folks to come out here because we're used to like driving all over the place, right? Like nothing is really close, and a lot of us go to Kamloops quite often. Mm-hmm. But I think for Kamloops, they've been super supportive in terms of helping us, asking questions, and almost being kind of a mentor Pride Society. I even think when we were trying to write our bylaws, they might have sent me a copy of their bylaws so that I could like kind of look at them because we really, we were just starting
I had no
out.
idea what we were doing.
Yeah.
Right.
And what was that group called in Kamloops?
The Kamloops Pride Society.
Oh,
Yeah.
so simple.
It's just Kamloops.
Everybody keeps stealing everybody else's name.
Not
It's
very
so
creative
no.
with the naming format.
Pride societies are sort of, you kind of have an idea of what the Pride Society is going to be about when you hear it, So, yeah.
I'm very proud of like the progress, and it takes a lot of bravery.
Are you proud of Pride?
I am proud of Pride. Prideful of being proud. Yeah.
Is there anything that we haven't touched on yet that you think is important to talk about at all?
We've touched on a lot of the big topics, I think.
Events and visibility.
How
our
about
history.
let's talk about the crossover? Because you know what, you guys, we're not done yet. We have another stream coming. Yeah, and because you guys are a little bit connected in some way.
Myself and Erin are also in Small Town Big Smiles.
Okay.
And that came to be because Kristen, the founder of Small Town Big Smiles, originally reached out to me as I'm sort of the face of the Pride Society a little bit. And Kristen reached out to multiple people who have other organizations or nonprofits in town with community goals like bringing people together and doing projects that are centered around positivity and kindness. To start this new grassroots movement called Small Town Big Smiles. So it's very different than Pride. It doesn't have really the same goals, but we are all interested in participating in community events, and we have some time to volunteer. I do think that volunteering is very big in this town. I feel like the vibe in this town is that there's so much going on. Mm-hmm. When I was in a city, it didn't feel like I'm sure there was so much going on, but in a small town, you're like, oh, you know about everything. Like I know about every market, every community fair, every, little event or whatever.
And they're most likely your friends.
100%. So, so Small Town Big Smiles started with a group of people who were community minded, and
and you can find out more about that in a couple of minutes on the next stream. So. Let's wrap things up here and, get ready for the next one. Thank you guys.
Thanks for having us.
For sitting down.
Anybody?
Yep.
Oh.
Mom, Dad, anything like that?
Yeah, I'll say hello to all of the people that are watching this that know me.
You know who you are.
You know who you are.
All right.
Hi, Dad.
Hi, Dad. Hi, my dad.
Thank you.
Hi, Todd's dad.
Hi, Todd's dad. Hello, Todd's mom. Thank you guys.
Hi, Mom.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for chatting with us today.
Hi, Grandma.
Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
All the best. Hopefully, the next Pride is even better than this one, and onward and upward.
Thank you.
Do you want to end with a pose?
Oh no.
No.
I don't think Jim Bro is ready for
No,
that.
Jim Bro is still not ready for prime time. All right.
I'm always ready for a pose. All right.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.
Ooh, Todd.
Are we done?